Hello and welcome to this presentation on Match Labeler. Are there ever times when you wish that FamilySearch would produce better record hints or possible duplicates? Well, if you have some extra time on your hands during the pandemic, you can help FamilySearch produce better record hints and possible duplicates through a tool called Match Labeler. You can get to Match Labeler by putting a search into Google saying Match Labeler FamilySearch or FamilySearch Match Labeler, or by going to the URL at the bottom of this screen. When you click on the link, FamilySearch is going to ask you to sign in. Once you've signed in, you'll see a page that looks like this. We'll come back to this screen later. The first thing you'll need to do is to click on Help in the top left corner of the page. Clicking on Help will give you step-by-step instructions on what you will do. I recommend reading the instructions carefully. This first page explains the goal of Match Labeler. It states, we use labeled data to help users automatically find historical records that may be related to their ancestors and to find possible duplicates in the shared family tree. The more labeled data we have, the better these suggestions will be. The Match Labeler tool helps us gather labeled data from volunteers. By marking pairs of persons as match, not a match, or can't tell, you're helping to improve the automatic hints provided by FamilySearch. The information is presented in this manner. The person pair are those two individuals highlighted in the light blue box. You decide whether the highlighted person on the left from a historical record matches the highlighted person on the right, which is the person in FamilySearch family tree. The two highlighted people in this case are both named Maria. The other people, parents, spouse, and children, are only shown to support the decision for the highlighted pair. The label box appears on the right. You will click Match if the two persons are probably the same person, not a match if they are probably not the same person, can't tell if the information shown isn't sufficient to make a decision, or skip to move to the next pair. You can add a note to any of these decisions that you make. In this particular case, I would choose not a match because the Maria in the historical record on the left was baptized in 1929. But the Maria on the right in FamilySearch is having a child christened in 1902. The countries of the baptisms are also different, one in Venezuela and one in Peru. Let's look at some other examples. Comparing Lucy J. Roberts and Lucy J. Binyard, you might think at first glance that this is not a match, but as you look more closely, the FamilySearch entry on the right has Lucy's maiden name, whereas in the historical record on the left, it has Lucy's married name. The husbands and children are the same, even though Daniel's name is spelled differently, and the dates and places correspond. I would mark this one as a match. In this example, nothing is a match. Names, dates, places, and relationships do not correspond. This is definitely not a match. Keep in mind, not all matches or non-matches are as easy to spot as these two examples. Here is an example of a match where there is not enough information to tell if it is a match or not. In this case, you would label it as can't tell. For any of the labels you designate, you can make a little note in the notes box. For this one, I made a note which says, more research would need to be done to determine if this is a match. If you do not feel confident on making a decision for a match, you can hit the skip button. I would not feel comfortable making the decision on whether or not this example is a match, so I would skip this one. Notice, however, in the top left-hand corner, there is a tag that labels this example as Japanese. You may also add a tab to any match if you feel it is necessary to do so. Now we are finished with the basic instructions, we'll go back to the page that shows up as you sign into the Match Labeler tool. This page for the instructions shows the list of data sets that can be labeled and what the headings mean. Title obviously means the name of the data set. Description is a short description of the data set. Labeled is the number of items that have been labeled by at least one person. Redundancy is the number of labelers needed to label each item before it is considered completely labeled. Complete is the number of items that have been completely labeled. And total is the total number of items in the data set. Start labeling by clicking on a line where the numbers appear in red on the right. Note that some items in red are in a foreign language. There is a great need for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. You can also click on a data set and hit the Review button. This gives you the opportunity to view other people's decisions on a match and choose if you agree or disagree with them. If you need additional help, there is a Facebook group for Match Labeler. The URL is listed here, but also in the Match Labeler instructions. Hopefully, those of you seeking volunteer opportunities, or those of you who just want to help FamilySearch make better suggestions for possible duplicates and historical records, will give Match Labeler a try.